anyone out there watching or listening, the more you grow as a person, the harder it's going to be to hang on to past friends and family. You're going to have to sail away from people that don't want to grow.
Hola a todos. Hi everyone. Welcome to MetaFit MetaMind podcast, a space where we leave taboo topics behind and dive into the interconnected worlds of physical and mental health and well-being. I am Karla Rodriguez, your host and trainer and coach of NLP and hypnosis, as we get on transformative conversations with leaders, entrepreneurs, and changemakers. Each episode is designed to inspire you to unlock barriers and embrace growth, mindfulness, and purpose in your life. Whether it's around mental health, wellness, or entrepreneurial journeys, we've got powerful insights just for you.
You know, being curious, being a lifelong learner, knowing just how to navigate and learning more
about. And you need to tell the world that you are ready and manifest and visualize and become this version of yourself.
The real knowing of who I am has just begun. This was the life.
Like life is happening to me, but I am able to create the life that I want.
So subscribe now and follow the podcast to listen to these powerful stories and be part of this community of empowered individuals who are striving for greatness and legacy. Because remember, raise your voice, share your story. Make sure to connect with us on social media at MetaFit MetaMind Podcast, on my other page at Coach Carlita, and be part of our journey to inspire and uplift others.
I'm so grateful for you to be here on MetaFit MetaMind Podcast again and hearing this conversation that I had with Alan Lazaros. To be honest, at first I didn't think I could connect with someone like him. He's someone that challenges me. I started to doubt my own abilities to speak with powerful people. And what I mean by challenges me is that he's just very knowledgeable for only being 2 years older than me. But this conversation was so enlightening, so fun, so insightful. Alan is the CEO and co-founder of Next Level University, a global personal development brand with over 2,000 podcast episodes, and listeners in more than 175 countries. Yeah, he's a coach, a speaker, someone who embodies what it means to turn adversity into growth, somebody who embodies challenging yourself and getting to that success. So I can't wait for you to hear his wisdom, the perspective that he shares in this episode, and honestly, it was such a great conversation for me to have, so I hope you enjoy it and let me know what you think. All right, thank you so much for being here at MetaFit MetaMind Podcast. I am Karla, and I'm excited because I have someone who I told him already that I feel this like essence, this like vibe of like confidence, but also easy to talk to. And I don't know, there's something about him that I am excited to learn about. So thank you, Alan, for being here.
Whoa. Okay, so first and foremost, thank you for having me. And thank you for that introduction. I have been on many podcasts, and I've never been introduced by someone who says I have a unique essence that they're excited to learn about. So that's a first for me. Thank you so much for having me. I do not take it lightly to be here. Anyone out there watching or listening, I believe that what you pay attention to is very much determining a large majority of your future. So I won't waste a second of anyone's time, and I'm honored.
Yeah. So before we even get to the juicy part of this, I told you that this is about you, and of course we're here to serve, but I want to know, who is Alan?
Yeah. Okay, well, that's the question, right? So who am I now? Who was I? Who am I becoming?
Yeah.
All of it. Do you want the short, mid, or long version?
The whatever you feel, like the mid if you want.
Okay.
The one that feels good to you, the one that feels like it makes sense to you, and then you're like, yeah, this is the one I want to share.
Okay, well, the first thing to share is I'm 36 now, so I consider myself still pretty young, but I also look 12, so I needed to make sure I clarify that. Yeah. When I said I've been coaching and mentoring for a decade, I had a person earlier say, a decade? You look like you're 20.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, that helps me tremendously in my business coaching career. People love to be coached by someone who looks 15. I'm joking. But so I'm 36 now. I'll tell you who I am now. Yeah, you look very young as well. So we both have that same problem.
I'm 2 years younger than you.
Oh, whoa. So you and I have a huge hurdle to overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that'll be great later.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hasn't paid off
we get
yet.
the experience now. I'm learning from the older folk, as they would say.
Yeah, the older folk. Yeah, it's unfortunate how much perception drives things, and it's very hard to respect someone who looks so young. It's too bad. Yeah. But anyways, so I'm 36 now. I'm the CEO of a company called Next Level University. We have an 18-person team. We have a podcast called Next Level University, same name as the company. And we have over 2,000 episodes now. And
Amazing.
yeah, thank you. And we're heard in 175 countries, and it's a personal development podcast about growth and success. How to achieve your own unique version of success. Next level. There's always a next level, no matter how hard your past has been, no matter how high you climb, there's always a next level. And that's kind of the premise. But that's who I am now. Who I was when I started was definitely not that. So I'll try to give you the mid version. I'm going to try to condense 36 years into 3 minutes here.
Perfect. This is your journey.
Yeah, so started out tough. Father passed away in a car when he was 28, when I was 2. He had a big family. He had 5 siblings, so 6 kids. Jim, Joe, John, Jane, Joan, Jeanette. He was John McCorkle. My real last name is McCorkle. And big Irish Catholic family. When he passed away, I was 2. Older sister was 6. Mom was 31. She was a stay-at-home mom. Stepfather came into the picture. His name was Steve Lazaros. I took his last name, I think, around age 7. I playfully refer to this part of my life as boats and BS. So from 3 to 14, Steve Lazaros was in my life. And some formative years. I playfully refer to that time in my life as boats and BS. So this is born and raised in Massachusetts, in New England, in the U.S., and this is during the mid-90s, late 90s, early 90s, early 2000s. So my father passed away in 91. So from 1991 to 1990, or to 2004 was the dot-com bubble.
Yeah.
And the United States economy is still to this day the largest economy by a significant margin. And I don't say that for anything of me being American. Back then it was wild. Do you remember the 90s? You're 2 years younger than me. The 90s. Where are you hailing from?
LA.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So the 90s were fucking wild. Pardon my French. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear.
Yes, you are.
But there's just so much expansion. It's not even funny. I mean, everyone had money. It was a different time.
Yeah.
And if you,
so many changes so fast.
Yep.
And it being like so many cool things too.
Yeah. X Games. Yeah, it was wild. Music, all of it. So, but it was boom times, especially in California. Holy crap. So, and I've been to LA, by the way. I lived in LA for 3 or 4 months in my early 20s. But anyways, so it was boats and BS because a lot of people had a lot of money. My stepdad worked for a company called AGFA. They did hospital computers during the dot-com bubble. Wow. So that's when everything was getting digitized. So we did very well financially. So from the outside looking in, we looked very successful. Like we lived on a lake. We had snowmobiles and motorcycle, and we had boats and ski trips and all that kind of thing. From the inside out, my mom and stepdad did not get along, and that's a very polite way to put it on a public medium because, oh my goodness. So from the inside out, things were not good. From the outside in, it looked great. Stepdad leaves at 14. Takes his entire extended family with him. To this day, have never seen or spoken to a single one of them. I talked to him on Facebook Messenger a little bit in my mid-20s and then a little bit in my 30s. Never saw the man in person. Same time, I'm 14 years old, right? Sister moves out with her older boyfriend, understandable. And keep in mind, I didn't associate much with the McCorkles anymore because we were trying to be sort of the Lazaroses, right? Mom gets in a fight with my Aunt Sandy, her sister. We get ostracized from her side of the family. To this day, I've only ever seen or spoken to 2 of them from her entire extended family. So by the time I'm 14 years old, I kind of lost 3 families. So there's 4 trauma responses. I didn't know any of this at the time. I do now. The 4 trauma responses are fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Fawn is the one I didn't know about until my 30s. Fawn is appease, appease, appease. You become this sort of social coward. So I think there's 2 worlds we all have to live in. There's the real world, which is who you are and what you are when no one's watching. And then there's the social world, which is the economy and perception. The real world is the marriage. The social world is the Instagram wedding photos.
Yeah, what you see, the Instagram versus reality.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyways, I fond in the social world, just don't lose any more friends and family. And this was not conscious. This was just my trauma response.
Yeah.
So I brought my high school friends to college, my college friends to corporate. I mean, I was everybody's best friend, everything for everyone else, nothing for myself. Sort of a chameleon is what I used to call myself, a chameleon.
You were holding on, it seems like, too.
Yes. All of us are playing not to lose. It just depends what. I was playing not to lose love, friends, and family, right? Because I dealt with so much loss from such a young age. But the trauma response that I had behind the scenes when no one was watching was aim higher, work harder, get smarter. It was fight. Fight to be better. Fight for your value. Fight to achieve. I became this esoteric, super fucking achiever with drive you wouldn't believe. When my stepdad left, took all the income with him, we went from boats and ski trips to I get free lunch at school now because our income is so low. Shop at Salvation Army now. My mom trades in her BMW for a little Honda Civic. How are we going to keep the house in the family? I went from I hope I get into my dream college. It was WPI, Worcester Polytechnic Institute. Kind of like a mini MIT engineering school. I wanted to be a computer engineer. And I went from I hope I get in to even if I do get in, I can't go because we can't afford it. And like I said, drive. I mean, I just drive. Straight A's through all of high school. I get all the scholarships and financial aid that I can. I have a letter signed by George W. Bush behind me called the President's Award. You get straight A's for 16 report cards straight. I got 189 in honors English, B+, and I never took honors English again. I was a math and science guy. And luckily it was weighted, so it was still an A in the weighting. But I get all the scholarships and financial aid that I can. I get into WPI, and I'm able to go. It was $50,000 a year, and this is back then. I get my computer engineering degree, bachelor's, 2012. 2013, I get my master's in business, and then I'm off to the races. So I did the traditional route. I did the preschool, kindergarten, middle school, high school, college, corporate. I did it, and I did it well. And academics, I got to be clear, never really came super hard to me. I definitely identify as someone who felt, as much as you're not allowed to talk about this, intellectually gifted. Okay? So now
Did you enjoy it?
No, absolutely not. No, I do now. In hindsight, I didn't try as hard as I wish I did. I was just very gifted, and I think I rested on talent, and I regret that, to be honest. Yeah. We'll get into it at some point. But anyways, so in corporate, I rose very quickly because I was used to being broke in high school and college. I promised you the mid version. I'm sorry, I got more. All right.
No, this is great.
Okay,
I love listening to your stories.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So, well, because I'm trying to condense it all and make it, right, 36 years into 3 minutes is not doable. But what I will say is I was broke in high school and college after my stepdad left, so I didn't need much. And so when I got into corporate, this is 2013 after my master's, I'd already had internships. I worked for a bunch of tech companies, iRobot, Sensata Technologies, Oz Development, Lens Americas, all these different companies. Eventually landed at a company called Cognex. I go from 65 to 85, 85 to 105, 105 to 125, 125 to almost 180 in my early 20s. So I became a 1% global earner in my early 20s. Yeah. Paid off 84. Thank you. I paid off $84,000 worth of college debt in a single year back in 2014. I was so proud of that. Eventually, I just bankrolled all this money. I put it in Vanguard in tech companies. I just bought a bunch of tech stocks. Now, I realize in hindsight that I'm a computer engineer who has a fairly good idea of where the economy is going, and I know what to bet on. And so in the stock market, I made a lot of money. And then I get in my car accident. So my dad died in a car when he was 28. I'm 26 at the time. And I had done everything that I thought would make me successful. And I was very successful externally, but I was internally unfulfilled. I get in a car accident. I'm 26 years old. This is back in 2015, tail end of 2015, dark winter night. Head-on collision, my fault, wrong side of the road. I was supposed to yield, but the yield sign was covered by the snowbanks.
Wow.
Yep. Lift-kitted pickup truck, head-on collision. Now, fortunately, I was driving a 2004 Volkswagen Passat because, like I said, in high school and college, I was broke. So even when I had a lot of money, I didn't need much. So I had $500 for rent. I lived with my girlfriend Courtney at the time on a lake, no mortgage, no kids, $5,000 car, Volkswagen Passat. I used to call this car the Tank. It was a steel trap, German engineered car, heavy set. Volkswagen, without a question, saved my life. both airbags deploy. Me and my little cousin, one of the two people that came back from my mom's side. He was 17 at the time. I was 26 at the time. And physically, we were okay. We were rattled. This was a head-on collision. This was not a fender bender. In my speeches, I usually show the car. And I've seen pictures of my dad's car, and I've seen pictures of my car, and they don't look that different. So for me, even though we were physically okay, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, I was completely just unglued. All the regrets you can imagine, who, what, when, where, why, existential quarter-life crisis. Some people have a job, some people have a career, some people have a calling. I had a job when I was 14, 15, 16, cart kid, busboy, golf course. I had a career in corporate. I did very well. Industrial automation, all kinds of stuff. I found my calling at 26. My calling is when I found personal development. That was 10 years ago. I'm 36 now. And I started a little company called Alan Lazaros LLC, what you'll never learn in school but desperately need to know. And I wanted to get speeches at high schools and colleges, which is the worst slogan ever to have for that. And I wanted to bring personal development to the masses and to the school systems. And it didn't really work. And so I went from externally successful and internally unfulfilled. I flipped the script. I went all in on the personal growth, self-improvement, mental health, inner work, personal development, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. I dialed up personal development to 11. Every book, every course, you name it. But I went broke. So I went from externally successful, internally unfulfilled, to now I'm internally fulfilled, happy, healthy, productive, fitness model, fitness competitor, fitness coach, but I'm broke. I liquidated all my assets.
Yeah.
Right? Then I finally, in my 30s, started to really build a bigger company and get successful and get momentum, where I'm both now externally successful and internally fulfilled. And I think that that's ultimately where everyone wants to get. And you know you're there when you look yourself in the mirror and say, I want my future life to be an amplified version of what it already is. And if you can say that, you have made it to the top of the metaphorical mountain, and now it gets higher as you climb it, because obviously I'm not done. I'm still at the beginning in many regards. I always said my career wouldn't even start until my 50s. But my point is, I want my future to be an amplified version of what I'm already doing. Passion, purpose, profit. And now Next Level University, and we are bringing personal development to people all over the world now, and helping people achieve their own unique version of success. So that's, again, I guess the long version. But
Wow. It's so interesting how you had all this drive, the grades, the, natural ability in school, I would say, the success and everything. And then you flip that. And that's not easy for most people to just say, I'm in this 200K, 300K earner to now being on this other side. And so, how was that process to even wrap around for yourself? I'm letting all of this go and I'm gonna start over, essentially.
okay, in the real world,
Yes,
who I am and what I am behind the scenes, in the real world, it was really wonderful because I started getting fit. So I used to drink too much and too often. My mom and stepdad liked to party. I drank in high school, drank in college, drank in corporate. I worked for a company called Cognex. Their motto is work hard, play hard. I used to say work hard, play harder.
Yeah.
And I was in outside sales.
You were trying to beat that too, huh?
Yeah, you know it. So Vermont, Connecticut, and Western Massachusetts were my territory. And in sales, the alcohol tends to be a big part of it. I don't want to come off as some degenerate. That's not what I'm saying. But I would say that I didn't take care of my health as well as I wish I did. And fitness was not a big part of my life. So in real life, after my car accident, fitness was my focus. Fitness model, fitness competitor, fitness coach. This is when I went all in on my dreams and my own personal development. And so in real life, it was wonderful in terms of fitness and investing in myself.
Yeah.
In the social world, it was atrociously bad. Because you go from being so respected and admired in being a 1% earner and achieving all your dreams that you said you would achieve and getting a master's in business. And you were sort of this epitome of success. I mean, you tell people you're an engineer from WPI and there's some credibility that comes with that.
Yeah.
And I turned down an interview at SpaceX. I was in LA for a time, this whole thing. You just become this loser in other people's eyes. And now I'm very grateful to be seen as a winner again. But for a long time, it was horribly bad in the social world. I mean, I I lost a lot of my friends. Anyone out there watching or listening, the more you grow as a person, the harder it's going to be to hang on to past friends and family. And there's no one who, if anyone was really, really honest, like I tell my clients that, like, listen, we're going to win and we're going to win big and it's going to be great. And we're going to track metrics and habits and priorities and goals and dreams and it's going to be great. But like, you're going to lose friends and family. You're going to have to sail away from people that don't want to grow. You're going to have to. And to me, that's the hardest part. So in real life, in terms of my own fulfillment, it was wonderful. In the social world, it was fucking terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people see this like, what are you doing? Like, and they don't, I don't think they intend to, but there's like this shame that comes with it of like, you had all of this, now what? And like you said, you lose people. Like, I think I went through a grieving period of friendships loss and separation with people. It just happened. It just happens sometimes. And it's like, I'm growing, and it's not to be like someone who thinks I'm better or anything like that, but I'm just on this journey. And if you want to come along, great. If you don't, that's, it's really sad for me. And this is for, like you said, my fulfillment, what the purpose is here.
Yeah, it's the hardest part.
Mm-hmm.
It's the hardest part, in my opinion. I think the hardest part for some people is the willingness to be seen as a failure when you first start. The hardest part for me was losing love and acceptance and belonging.
Mm-hmm.
Because, oh, you're a podcaster now?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a bodybuilder now? I mean, it was brutal. Now,
is that
the truth of the matter...
money?
Yeah, I know. And but now, what's funny? And again, I'm 10 years in now.
Yeah.
And we crossed 2,000 episodes, and there have been several people who shit on me like you wouldn't believe in the beginning that are now reaching out to try to be close with me again.
Yeah.
And, hey, don't read too far into this, but I'm really sorry for being such an asshole to you in the beginning. It's like, really, what a back-ended, apology. Yeah. Hey, don't read too far into this. Hey, how about this? Fuck yourself. I'm kidding. All right, but the truth of the matter is...
why start with that, first of all?
And at the end of the day, people say like, oh, you got to forgive and all this stuff. Listen, the truth of the matter is, I'm going to be very raw here.
Mm-hmm.
That drove me. That wouldn't drive everybody. I've been doubted my entire life. I've had some people who do believe in me. Mm-hmm. I've had some good things about my childhood, but the majority of it was a lot of adversity. It was very difficult. Mm-hmm. And I've always been aiming pretty high. And the majority of people, I don't think, really thought I was serious. And I think that one of the coolest parts about being successful later on is you prove it to yourself, and you prove it to others that you were serious. And everyone who shit on you in the beginning, they will eat that humble pie, whether they want to or not. And there's certain people who come back and say, oh my God, you did it. And it's like, well, you obviously didn't believe me when I said I would, if you're so shocked. But at the end of the day, most people really are just talking, Karla. So
yeah,
I meant every word when I said I would do this. And Kevin, my business partner, he says, dude, people struggle with self-belief. Like, you have a lot of self-belief. It's known in psychology as self-efficacy. And you take adversity and turn it into your advantage because you believe in yourself. Most people really are just talking about dreams. They don't actually intend on it.
Yeah.
They're certainly not reverse engineering it like you are. So at the end of the day, I have empathy for it. But one thing that I will give to anyone who is a dream chaser out there, you better let that drive you, because I had some freaking bullies, man. Like, people that were so wildly unkind to me and treated me so unjustly. And luckily for me, it drove me. Because if it didn't, if it shut me down instead of drove me, I would not be talking to you right now.
I am the opposite of you. Like, I'm not driven by someone not believing in me, weirdly enough. It's more recent that I've been learning to use that as a driver and as a motivator. But for me, I've always kept it to myself. A lot of it came from being bullied in school and just believing it all, right? And so I didn't have that natural ability. And so I've seen a lot of great examples of, you have that self-efficacy. And I use that now as a model of like, okay, what would he do? How would he stand to this? I feel like I tell my clients, like, if there's someone that you believe, that you think is excellent or, awesome, I don't know, have a picture of them or like listen to what they say and maybe
pretend like you are them. And so I think that's something that I've been learning along the way, has been like that confidence, because now people are like, oh yeah, Karla, like you have this confidence. I'm like, trust me, that didn't come naturally to me.
Nice.
Definitely not. I'm more of like, I came from the humble, but I've always like, I had this like, if I show this confidence, is it going to look selfish, or is it going to look too like ego centered, or is it going to look, so I always worried about that. And so how do you balance like the not getting like, you had all this success and all of this, right? Then you come down here, you use that as a driver to now have your 10 years in this success again. How did you not let all of that get in your head and then, do it all over again and now be successful again?
When you say get in your head, do you mean the doubters, or do you mean my own ego?
Your own ego.
Okay. I think that I'm going to overly simplify. And for any clinicians or psychologists out there, this is an oversimplification, and I know that. I've been mentoring for 10 years, coaching for 8. I've met literally, I have 7,000 plus hours tracked. I'm an engineer and I track everything. 7,000 plus hours of one-on-one coaching. So this is not just my opinion.
No, and I know engineer minds are very analytical and very like on it. I know that.
So my brain works a lot like it's all numbers, and it's all data, and it's all anomalies. And what an anomaly is something that doesn't fit the pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 4 is missing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm good at picking up things that don't make sense. And I've come to understand that I don't make sense. So I've been studying Kevin, my business partner. We've been business partners for 8 years. And I'm going to use us two as metaphors and as an example to try to help your listeners. So there's this quote, "It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us." That actually does resonate with people who identify as fearful of success. So for me, I'm not concerned about not being good enough. I'm actually concerned more about being hated and villainized. So Kevin has always felt like a very likable person. Kevin and I will go give a speech. Everyone will love him and hate me, even though I think my speech is actually better, to be honest. Yeah. And so there's two types of courage. There's social courage and there's competence courage. I needed more social courage because what I used to do is manufacture belonging by dimming myself down and pretending I'm less than I really am. And I don't do that as much anymore. So I have a therapist named Karla, and we work together probably 4 years now. And she, a couple years in, she said, "Oh, you're so much more confident than you used to be." And I was like, I don't think anyone's ever questioned my confidence in my entire life. Everyone's been calling me arrogant my whole life. And she's like, no, Alan, like confident in yourself. Oh. So there's two types of confidence. And I'm really grateful that you consider my essence confident, because in the past you would have only given me half the equation. Let me show you.
Okay.
I've never not been confident when it comes to external achievement. I want to get straight A's, go do it. I want to get better at basketball, go do it. I want to get into this school, go do it. I want to get this job, go do it. External achievement for me, I reverse engineer it and it's fairly easy.
Yeah.
And again, I still work hard and it's still hard, but not compared to, I think, a statistical norm. So that's why I love fitness. For me, it's me versus me. There's no social aspects involved. So Kevin and I both go give a speech. He is afraid he won't be competent. I'm not afraid of that at all. I'm afraid everyone's going to hate me. He's not afraid of that at all. And so we're all in one of these two buckets. One of them is called unlovable, and that's the bucket I'm in, which is you're very good at things. You tend to be extremely competent, but you're a mirror for people who are insecure. So socially, you don't feel like you fit in, even though you pretend to, and then when you're alone, you bring out your greatness. Okay, the other bucket is the majority of the population. The majority of the population, their record playing is, it's not going to work out, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, you're not good looking enough, that kind of thing. That's not the record that I have playing. So most of the world sees me as arrogant, when in reality, they don't have high self-belief and they don't know it. And I also think at times I can be arrogant, by the way. Okay? But what I've come to understand... What'd you say?
You're human.
Yeah, okay. Well, what I realized is if I have level 10 self-belief and only level 8 humility, I come off level 2 arrogant.
Mm.
So I have more self-belief than I do humility. And if you want to stay centered and mature, you have to work on humility as much as your belief.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, is what I've done in my 30s, fortunately. But when I was younger, forget it. I mean, I was so good at achievement, but not necessarily coming off super humble about it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that other people didn't believe in themselves. And by the way, no one tells you this. Kevin is my business partner, and he said, Alan, no one's going to tell you this, but they don't believe in themselves like you do. They struggle with self-doubt all the time. And I was like, holy crap, really?
That's a thing?
Because around, right? Well, around me, they don't. So Kevin and I would coach the same individuals. And I'll give you this side tangent real quick. We both coached the same person, this magnificent, empowered woman. And we both coached her. He coached her on podcasting. I coached her in business. And then we were on a 3-person call at one point. It was a Zoom session. This is years ago. And he called me after. He said, dude, did you see how freaking much ego, how arrogant she was? And I said, Kev, that's always how she is with me. Got it. She's mirroring me. So Kev is used to her being more humble because she's mirroring his humility.
Yeah.
She's trying to mirror my confidence and manufacture my confidence. So I realize that I'm in an echo chamber of people that are acting confident when they're really not, out of a trauma response. So now I understand I lived in an echo chamber where I thought everyone believed in themselves at level 10 because everyone around me acts like they believe in themselves at level 10, except for a select few very emotionally mature people like you.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of us have a little Kevin and a little Alan. Which end are you on? We call it drive to 5. The people on my end have very high internal self-belief, but they're socially very cowardly. They dim their light around others to make them feel better because they're afraid to be attacked if they shine. And they need to work on humility. On Kevin's end, their record playing is you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, it's never going to work out for you. And they tend to be so afraid to be seen as a failure that they never try anything new, and therefore they almost guarantee they end up a failure because failure is where you learn how to grow and contribute beyond yourself. And so which end are you on, listener, and or you, Karla, and which one do you have to work on? So one of them, you have to work on self-belief. You're already naturally more humble. And then the other one is you have to work on humility, which means aim high and just basically be ripped a new one repeatedly so you stay humble.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very open, to answering. I would say, for me, for a long time, it was that self-belief that I don't think I can fit in with these people. I ended up writing a book with 12 other women, and I was questioning myself, how the heck did I get in this group with successful business women who are making, and at the time I was like, they're making, six figures, 7 figures. How the heck did I sneak my way in this? Right? That was I even told the audience, because I had never spoken in front of people. I was like, I don't know how I got here, but I'm here, right? And they just they thought it was funny, but I really had that
nice
belief of, I have no idea how I fit here. Should I even be here? Right? It was
so how do you know that that's not self-worth versus self-belief? Because self-worth and self-belief are two different things.
I think it's
self-belief
for me.
Yeah, self-belief is your ability to your belief, your certainty, and your ability to achieve something externally. Mm-hmm. Self-worth is how much do you believe you're worth?
Yeah.
Right. So one of them is I can build the castle. The other one is I deserve to live here, and I'm going to honor and protect it.
Yeah.
I had
it was
high self-worth. Okay, agreed.
And then it was a little bit of the self-belief, because I'm a trier of things, and if it works out, cool. If it doesn't work out, I'm like, oops, let me figure out how to fix it or work on it. So I'll push the button first, and then I figure it out.
That sounds like high self-belief, low self-worth.
Yeah.
So for you, it was the deserve it factor that you were questioning. It wasn't competence that you were questioning, right?
No, not always. And then now that when I did get into coaching, being like you said in the beginning, we look younger, and then I'm like, are these people going to somehow take coaching from me? Yeah, so it was kind of this mix of things. But I was thinking about something that I heard recently about, you're like, oh, that's a thing. I didn't know that was a thing. And how I had to look it up because I had it on a message somewhere. And apparently that there's 4 types of intelligence that I didn't know about, right? The intelligence quotient, emotional quotient, social quotient, and adversity quotient.
Nice.
And intelligence is the measure of your level of comprehensions, right?
Yeah.
Emotional, your ability to maintain peace with others, keep to time, be responsible. Social is the measure of your ability to build a network of friends and maintain it over a long period. And then there's one more, which is the adversity quotient. And it says the measure of your ability to go through a rough patch in your life and come out of it without losing your mind. And apparently, people like that have their EQ, SQ, and AQ, they become multifaceted human beings, able to do things independently of their parents. And so there's also the people that have a higher EQ and SQ tend to go further in life than those with a high IQ below EQ and SQ.
Agreed.
So it's so interesting to me how that's a thing. I had no idea about that, and how, for example, I would say I have high emotional IQ. What would you
Yeah.
say yours is?
Oh, well, so in the beginning, it was all IQ.
Mm-hmm.
So in my sort of kindergarten or preschool, kindergarten, middle school, high school, college, corporate, it was mostly IQ.
Mm-hmm.
And IQ, I do think, is still the highest.
Yeah.
I just got off with an AP Calc professor. He's a multimillionaire in real estate, and we are big on numbers, and it's a math modality of thinking. And I can teach you the modalities of thinking as well, which I think would be powerful for you. But like now, I've worked a lot on EQ, way more leadership.
Yeah.
18-person team all over the world, coaching people. EQ is way higher now. SQ, I think, was high only because I was such a chameleon. I don't think SQ was high from an authentic place. I think in hindsight, I would shapeshift to whatever someone else needed unconsciously, because in my upbringing, there was some really big challenges that I had to kind of, when tornado meets volcano, I had to be sort of the weather the storm, so to speak, and be whatever they needed. Yeah. But I think SQ's coming up. It's harder for me because now that I'm letting my computer engineer out, most people are very threatened by that because they don't. It is sometimes threatening. That's why people are afraid of AI, because AI is smarter than us, right? So when you're around someone really smart, a lot of people can be very intimidated, and we have this thing called the intimidation factor. It breaks down the 30 facets of an intimidating personality, and I had my business partner Kevin rate me from 0 to 10 on it. Mm-hmm. And he gave me a 9.5. He went through every category, and the average was a 9.5. So I've come to realize that I'm an acquired taste, I guess. So a lot of people are very intimidated. So SQ is coming up, but it's not what I thought it was. And then AQ, I think, is unreasonably high. I'm 36 years old, and I have a very wonderful life now. And behind me are awards and books, and my life is magnificent now. But where I came from, there's something called an ACE score, Adverse Childhood Experiences. Mm-hmm. And when I finally mustered the courage to ask my therapist what she thought my ACE score was, because I'm always about a bell curve, like 0 to 10. Where am I at on this thing? And I already knew the answer.
You want to analyze yourself.
She said, Alan, the highest I've ever seen. And she's been a clinician for decades, right? So I know what that means. She said, due to the chronic nature of it, it's the highest I've ever seen. So now I want to be as clear as possible, because this is a public medium. I have a lot of wonderful people that were in my childhood. However, and not all of it was bad, but it was extremely, extremely, extremely adverse. And you only heard a small fraction of that in the opening of this podcast. So I think AQ, adversity quotient, is the most important. AKA, how do you bounce back from the inevitable challenges of life? And I think there's two types of adversity. There's the adversity that comes at you, that life throws at you, that you couldn't possibly have expected or wanted. Yeah. And then the second adversity is the adversity that comes as an inevitable byproduct of aiming really fucking high. And I happened to, without knowing it as a kid, choose both. One of them came at me often, and the other one so this is the cycle that I ran unconsciously. Adversity would strike, And then I would fawn socially, but I would aim higher, work harder, get smarter, which would then create more challenge and more adversity, which then would make me fawn socially and aim higher, work harder, get smarter. So I ran this cycle. I remember one time Kev said, I don't understand. Like, how do you know all this? And I said, Kevin, I had to know all this. And what I meant by that was my dreams and goals required me to learn all this. And I told Kev recently, I said, if I took away all your fitness knowledge, all your finance knowledge, all your business knowledge, all your knowledge of podcasting, we work with 106 podcasters and business owners at this stage. If I took away, we're all born naked, scared, and ignorant. We don't know anything when we're born. If I took away all of your awareness and all of your skills, what would you do? That's a scary place. You'd be stuck. You can't write, you can't read, you can't speak, you don't know mathematics, you don't know engineering, it's all gone. You'd be stuck. And I feel like, unfortunately, that's the world we live in. A lot of people feel very stuck because they don't have the awareness and the skills to go and achieve the resources necessary to flourish.
Yeah.
And that's what I would recommend to anyone out there watching or listening is, like, if you can take adversity. I had a client who was born with no arms and no legs. She learned how to drive. She knows how to swim. Like, she's amazing.
Wow.
I know. Yeah. Unbelievable. She inspires the hell out of me. She has adversity that is beyond what most of us will ever face. And she still is finding a way to flourish. And I have a hard time with the excuses that other people make when she has every excuse and doesn't use any of them. So I had a lot of excuses I could have used. I could have said my dad died. I didn't have my stepdad. I could have used a lot of excuses. And the truth is that wouldn't have served me and it wouldn't have served the world. So I hope anyone out there who feels stuck, there's something you can do about it. Pick up that book, pick up that podcast, get a mentor, get a coach, find a therapist. Like, there's something you can do. The resources are available for the people who take action and are humble enough to go get help.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's such a way for you to share that, is like the resources are there as long as we decide to look and take that self-responsibility, that anything can be taken from us except like our brain, our eyes. Like, we can still see, even if we can't speak, even if we don't know where to start. If we can at least look, we can see like what's around us and like gain a little bit of that awareness.
Well, Karla, when I mentioned this amazing, incredible, empowered woman who was born with no arms and no legs, I've told this to Kevin on the podcast before. I said, dude, lop off an arm, lop off a leg. You're still Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it's the brain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a neuroscience geek. I'm a computer engineer. I get it. I'm a weird, esoteric weirdo. So don't shut off to what I'm going to say just because you don't like me. Your brain is who you are.
Mm-hmm.
If the brain goes, it all goes. The brain is what matters. Good sleep, great nutrition, consistent exercise, like the neuroscience, neuroplasticity, functional, chemical, structural changes in the brain. Like, if you want to flourish in the 21st century, you have to have a healthy brain that works effectively.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between a dog and a human? Dogs cannot project into the future. They can't play chess.
No.
They can't think 20 moves ahead. They can't think about what they want their life to look like when they're 50, 60, 70, 80. They can't look at statistics. 195 countries. Average life expectancy, 78. 76 for men, 78 for women. Medical breakthroughs. Boom, boom, boom. All this stuff. 345 million people in America. 27 million in Australia. 40 million in Canada. Boom, boom. These stats. There's 110 million people in the Philippines. There's very little land. I always say you don't go to the Philippines to buy land, and you don't go to Canada to look for a huge economy. It's nothing against Filipinos or Canadians. You can't make effective choices with inaccurate data. Canada has more land than maybe any country on this planet almost. It's one of the biggest geographic countries in the world, and there's only 40 million people, and 90% of them on the U.S. border. So if you want to buy land and you're okay with the gold, you go there. I think a lot of us are like self-driving cars that have inaccurate data. You think there's a road when there's really a cliff. You keep driving off a cliff and then blaming the world. And at the end of the day, knowledge is actually power. Knowledge is potential power. Awareness matters. I'm 36. I'm Alan version 3.6, and I'm much more aware and much more capable than Alan version 2.6 and Alan version 1.6. And that's why young people have such low self-worth, because you just don't know anything yet. You have to travel and learn and meet people and understand. And that's my favorite part about coaching, is I get to learn from all these amazing people. And yes, I coach and guide them, and I get to be their GPS, but I get to learn about real estate and coaching and therapists, all this stuff. So I get all the cheat codes. It's my favorite. I get to play chess every day. Yeah. And I love the 4 modalities of thinking: the adversity quotient, the intellectual quotient, the emotional quotient, and the spiritual quotient. Was it spiritual? Social quotient. Social quotient. And if you could please send me that would be magnificent.
Yeah.
I'd really appreciate it. But I had never heard about the adversity quotient. Okay. Adversity quotient I had never heard before.
Yeah.
That's big.
So yay, you got to learn something from me too.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
And if people wanted to work with you, because you've shared so much. Normally I would be like, if somebody wanted to learn something from you, like, what would you share with them? But you literally just told me. And so if somebody wanted to find you, work with you, like, where can they find you?
Yeah, so the best place to connect with me personally would be Instagram at this stage. I like it the best. DM me. DM me on Instagram. I check them every day. So my Instagram is Lazaros88, ALAZAROS88. That's my Instagram handle. The podcast is Next Level University, spelt just like it sounds. 1% improvement in your pocket from anywhere on the planet, completely free. Next Level You, not us, but you. If you're humble and have work ethic, you're going to love it. If you want big rewards for minimal effort, you're not going to like us. We are not 4-hour work weekers. And again, nothing again.
Two of them, so you find a balance. You'll like one of them at least.
Yeah, you'll like him. Yeah, for sure. And then the website is nextleveluniverse.com. The person who had nextleveluniversity.com is charging way too much, and I'm not a fan. So we were like, you know what, nextleveluniverse.com. Everything's on there. We've got monthly meetups. We've got a book club. We've got a Dreamliner, which is a journal that you use every day to reverse engineer your dreams. We got all kinds of stuff. We got a group coaching program. Book club's free. Monthly meetups are free. We do a bunch of free stuff. We have a bunch of paid stuff. And I'm a business
stuff.
What'd you say?
You got a multiverse of stuff.
We do, exactly. Yeah, a metaverse, right? A metaverse. And if you want to reach your true potential, that's what we're about. And just please come with humility and an eagerness to learn, and we'll do awesome stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Alan, for being on here, for giving me so much knowledge, so many like awarenesses and things to think about. That's why I love podcasting, because I get to hear it first. So everything is going to be in the show notes, and I truly, truly appreciate you. Again, your essence. It's amazing.
Thank you, Karla. Thank you so much for having me. I started with gratitude. I want to end with gratitude. It was an honor. Reach out anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Remember, the conversations we have here are meant to spark growth, connection, and awareness that you can bring into your own journey. If you love this episode, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs to hear this message. Remember, follow the podcast on Instagram at MetaFitMetaMind Podcast. Connect with me on my other page at Coach Carlita, and now on TikTok at Coach Carlita as well, where I share different content on mindset, communication, health, and all the things a little more personal. Until next time, keep raising your voice and share your story.